Members of BFW, what is up? This is Pepto-Bismol casting you only the greatest hits versus our War versus Blood Brazilian Diamond. It was a tough loss. I mean, I think that we went with 25. I think my overall war thoughts were that we played hard. We left stars on the table, but we also had some really, really nice hits. So I think all in all, I would consider this to be a solidly above average performance for us. I think we could have maybe pushed it to 70, 71, but it would have been really, really close even with us at our best. So participation was good. I think we were very coordinated. I still believe in our initial strategy, but I think it's important to do a little something different. Got to mix it up for you folks. So what we're going to do this time, I'm going to review a couple of the hits. I'm just going to review these two top hits here, Joe Pavo and Big T, because I think they were really, really sweet. But, overall, I had some calls from Crazy Thresh, and his big request was to, get some tactics. So, this is going to be more of a learning podcast, or more of a learning video. None of this criticism is, meant to be taken too seriously or too badly. I think we all want to get better, and the only reason I would mention this kind of thing is so that we can continue to learn and grow as players, and then obviously win more, so that eventually we can join the enemy clan, spam a bunch of penises, and then leave that clan and then be rejoined as a co-leader. All right, so here we go. Joe Pavo. Using the Queen Warden Walk. Now this is really nice. So again, this is something that I haven't mastered myself. I think a lot of you guys are going with the Queen Warden Walk. So Thresh, if you do get to Town Hall 11, obviously power level your Warden right away. And one of the first skills that you want to master in your toolbox is either the Queen Walk, of course, but also more importantly and more difficultly, the Queen Warden Walk. What we see here is that Joe Pavo uses wall breakers to help guide the Queen Warden Walk, get the Queen Warden Walk into the core, so that part of it plays perfectly. Again, the wall breakers there are key to direct the Queen Warden pathing. Also, the Warden laser beams are greater than the Queen range, so that's a part of it too. So keep that in mind, Thresh. What we see is that the Queen... that Joe Pavo knew exactly how to make this Queen Warden Walk work to his advantage. So next, things don't exactly go according to plan here. The pathing is a little bit weird because this guy's got a little bit of a soft channel, and the majority of Joe Pavo's forces go around the outside. Now the danger is that his healers are going to get catty-cornered against these air defenses. So, how do you prevent troops not diving towards the core? I mean, you set a hard edge, and Joe Pavo was obviously trying to transition his Queen Warden Walk over to his main troops, which he did perfectly, by the way. I mean, again, everything about this attack is textbook, and I'll go over all the techniques that he used so that you can, store those in your hit bank, or in your utility bank. But ultimately he's able to dive into the core, and so just keep that in mind. Don't panic. Again, do not panic. If things do not go your way, the hit is obviously still salvageable. You still have enough firepower to get it through, and so what we saw was Joe Pavo was very patient with his rage. His jump was burnt, and so he was out of that, but there actually wasn't too much to jump through, and his big bowler stack could break its own walls. So, he's patient. He had enough healing to power through, and he kept his Warden stayed with his main army, and he had the Witches, which were basically working for him as kind of soft healers to absorb the point defenses and keep his main troops up. So, reviewing the techniques that Joe Pavo used and the techniques that you need to cultivate in order to drop 3-star hits. Number 1, Queen Walk, Warden Walk. Obviously, if you don't have a Warden, you don't have to worry about it, but just know that they are very, very different. They're very different things. The Queen Walk by itself is a specific mastery. The Queen Walk with the Warden, there are subtleties to it. You'll see with the pathing that I've run into myself lots of different times. Next, using wall breakers to direct the Queen Walk. So that's a nice little technique. It's a nice play. If you can do it, it is very effective. So really try to get a feel for the Queen pathing and plan that out. Next, you saw the transition from the Queen Warden with the healers transitioning the healers over to the bowlers. That, to me, is a very challenging technique. That we certainly need to work on because it conserves troop space. I just spam healers. I get like 9 healers to overcome that. So you can do it my way, but the true elegant way is to do it the Joe Pavo way. And so basically the 3-star hit is stringing together techniques to deal with the Queen, to deal with the CC troops, and then finally, trying to keep your magic book up so that you can power through the giant bombs. I think once you do those 3 things, check, 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 then you can rip through a Town Hall 10 base. And as far as going after Town Hall 11s, I think that right now everybody's pretty comfortable with a 2-star, but the extra check that you obviously need to deal with is, how do I deal with the Eagle Artillery? How many Eagle Artillery shots do I have to deal with before, before I take it down? And that, that can be very, very challenging. Sometimes the Eagle Artillery will take precedence over the CC troops, and then you have to deal with the CC troops in like a special way. But either way, here we go. Big T versus Gandalf. Looks like the Fellowship of the Ring is about to fail. Sauron is coming for him in the form of Big T. So Big T with a great pull, kind of with a Queen Walk pull / hit squad pull. That's nice. That's nice heads up play there, using the Warden magic book to mitigate a lot of that Inferno Tower damage. And his healer's is absolutely going to town. So his rage placement is sequential. It's patient. He's still got spells left. Doing a great job here, and I'm expecting another rage to come or heal pretty soon. Going with a Bowly Miney. I didn't even see those miners like go into town, but actually this, again, since there's no Eagle Artillery, the miners absolutely play. So again, he's got the Warden Miner Bowler combo go into town there, plus the Queen has gotten into the middle and should be able to take out that Town Hall, in addition to mitigating the enemy Queen. Yeah, so some of his miners got exposed kind of in the middle. So here we go. It's getting a little tense, but I think he has enough juice because he has the Queen ability. There it goes. Enemy Queen goes down. That Air Sweeper's actually really working him hard, and hopefully his Queen stays up because he's going to need it. So Queen stays up. Perfect. Air Sweeper goes down. Giant Bomb does hit a miner stack, but the Warden is able to mitigate some of that, and they don't die. So that's crucial. He has a couple of them still swinging away. But, he's got the Queen, he's got healer, and as long as he has enough time, he's got more than enough firepower to deal with this. So, oh, look at all this. He's got tons of miners. Anyway, so Big T, showing off his miner power here, and I think this is a hit that we really start, we need to cultivate, right? So I think that Thomas and Konar Blood are ahead of the game on this one. What we see, and so this is a 30 miner hit, with bowlers in the CC. Now, what we've seen is that the Eagle Artillery, the game obviously wants you to level up, and so, they nerfed Inferno Towers, and once they did so, the miner hit became unbelievable, and they also gave miners another level, a couple buffs in terms of damage, and so, we as a clan just need to continue to cultivate that hit, and I think if you build into a miner hit, you're going to be rocking it. All right, so let's take a look at some of these hits that didn't go so well, and kind of talk about, what we could have done differently, what went well. Okay, here we go, Duran G. I think it's good to feature a couple hits up top. So Duran going with a Go Vawi. Pretty standard, I used to run a lot of Go Vawi back in the day. So basically what he does here is he's able to get his Valks through the CC pull and then uses his rage spells appropriately, gets it all the way through. I think in this case I may have switched out one freeze for a heal just to get the Valks through the giant bombs because they do suffer a lot through that. But, Duran, don't want to tweak this too much because Duran's got his specialty hit here. So Duran up top has been very strong at hitting those, really high bases and getting the 2 stars, freeing up Big T and other folks to hit down. So Duran, well done, sir. Excellent job. So here we go with Zeke going up against Double Fellatio. That's a bad name, Double Fellatio. All right, so this is a base that, you know, sometimes we can 3-star, sometimes not. I think it's a really, really challenging base. You know, the walls aren't great, but the air defenses are high, and most of the point defenses are pretty high. I mean, I would certainly have a hard time with this. All right, so Zeke, what he chooses here is he goes with his Witch Goalie Bowly, and some, so Goalie Bowly, Golems and Bowlers. I really like that. You know, he goes right at the Inferno Tower, and then his heal is spot on. Yeah, so that first heal does really, really well. So here we go. The remainder of his bowlers getting deployed in the back. So I do this because I don't, you know, I get terrified of losing my bowler stack. Like, I play on an iPhone personally, and sometimes I can't see the giant bomb, and so if I can't see it, and it goes off, then I get wrecked, or like I'm tinkering with my queen or something. And so, you know, I think that if I can avoid going with the Quake, I would. In most cases, you know, you have to spend a lot of spell slots to hit the Quake, and I think it's better overall to just do the jump and just lay it early. So that's one of my thoughts. I think the other one... Yeah, I think the other one is that this is just a really, really challenging base. He lost a lot of his healers to attrition, and I think that is ultimately what sunk the attack. Again, this is a really tough base, not a guaranteed 3-star by any stretch. This is a situation where protecting the healers ultimately would have popped him the end boxes, but, you know, neither here nor there. And as I said, this is purely educational. I am by no stretch saying that I could have done better. All right, so let's take a look at V-Dog going up against Scorpicore. Yeah, you know, what do you do, right? Like, you're a low level, you know, you're like a Town Hall 9, Town Hall 10. You're going up against one of these, like, weird manicured Town Hall 10 bases. This one, you know, the big difference here is that this guy's got Channeled Infernos. It's hard. It's really hard, right? So like Channeled Infernos, they're very vulnerable to bowlers, but you know, I think unfortunately your bowlers are just not good enough at this level. So eventually you just end up going Valk, maybe a couple Witches. I think V-Dog's Valk game is on point. So his Valks get in deep. He's got his Valk stack there. You know, his heal was a touch off. Oh yeah, so he lost most of his Valk stack as it kind of cut through the middle there. And then he's able to get some decent value as he spins around the outside. It's tough. I think you really have to babysit your Valk stack. They can, you know, even with queens, because they just really sit right on top of each other, and so they're very, very, very vulnerable to AoE hits, like Wizard Towers, you know, Giant Bombs, etc. And there was a nerf a while back where they dropped the HP but increased their attack speed and increased their damage. So I think those that kind of worked against him. He certainly had the spells to power through. What I would do, you know, what I have typically done with this is that I've peppered in the hogs, and so I've usually gone with a 12 Valk kind of 10 hog stack, and I've babysat the hogs with a heal. We saw a couple of the other guys send some hogs. So you use the Valks to get in the core, and then you use the hogs to account for the peripheral compartments. And so usually with the hog, you have enough juice with the hogs. You play them pretty late so that they can, like, you know, clean up a whole bunch of stuff. So, you know, that's certainly one consideration and one, you know, technique that you can use. But if you go through the phases of the attack, well, I'll kind of demonstrate on the next one. Zero grind versus no, that's not very helpful. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about what happened with me versus Solace. So this is kind of we'll go through the phases of the attack, and then we'll also kind of troubleshoot, you know, bowler hits. So the first, you know, it's queen walk, yes or no, but the queen walk should have a very specific objective. And in this case, my goal with the queen walk was to set the edge, because I was going to deal with the CC with the main army, and I don't need to really worry about the queen. It's a deep CC, and so again, on this phase of the attack, my only goal was to set the edge. Now, the flip side is you can use your queen walk, as we saw with Joe Pavo, to get the enemy queen, to get the enemy CC. That's totally reasonable. All right, so I do a staggered deployment here. So I deploy my main force in 2 waves so that I don't, so I'm not too vulnerable up front. That is just my personal preference and what I saw in this attack because I was going into a CC. So just in case they had a loon stack or something, I wasn't going to lose my bowlers all up front. All right, so this is phase 2. This is the main army getting to the core. I think I'm fairly effective with this, you know, but there is a lot of attrition, and my healers are not going the way I want them to, and then also I lose my queen here, which is dumb. So I wasn't paying attention to my queen. My queen goes down. I lost a couple healers too, and so now, again, healer attrition on this attack was very, very high, and I basically, that's basically why I lost. So then, I was kind of struggling. I was like, well, do I play my rage? Where do I play my rage? In my brain, I was like, God, what do I do? I'm pretty screwed at this point, so go for percent. I optioned to heal the one below because the other top ones were getting killed. But then, his giant bomb popped me. So, this is phase 3 of the attack where you're into the core, and then you kind of see how things go, when I should have played my magic book earlier. And then it's all about getting the compartments, right? So you need enough of a main force, and you need like cleanup stuff to hit those final compartments. And in this case, I lost my queen, and I had an extra rage spell. Oops. So big mistake. I lost one of my main compartment cleaners, queen with healers. Then I didn't have any healers on my main bowlers, so I couldn't get into those extra compartments. So another big thing. Ultimately, what I should have done was... obviously, I should have babysit my queen better, number 1. Number 2, I should have considered, the healer pathing so that I didn't run into these catty-cornered air defenses. And when I say catty-cornered, what I mean is that, when your army attacks at an oblique angle to the air defense so that the air defense range is able to hit the healer going over, like, the thing that the healer is healing. So like if your healer's queen and the air defense are like all a triangle from around each other, then the air defense can hit the healers. Whereas if the air defense, healers, and queen are all in a straight line, then usually the range, usually it's out of range of the air defense. So, I think healer and army pathing is crucial. All right, let's take a look at some of these other hits here. Down low. What do we got? Oh, you guys hit super early. Excellent. Oh, here we go. Thresh. All right, Thresh. What happened with DeFalcon? Oh, well, he's got an Inferno Tower, so we certainly don't expect you to 3-star this base. So what went right? What went wrong? What can you do? All right, so Quake. Again, I know how I feel about Quake. I think you want 4 spells. And you want the poison. Okay, so, obviously there, play the queen first. It looks like your healer is taking some attrition from that archer tower. It doesn't go down. Very nice. Oh, that was good. Okay, yeah, so Ninja Pull. Obviously if you identify any kind of, like, base inefficiencies, I think that's great. That little archer giant bomb pop was pretty solid. All right, so this guy's coming in with... Lava Loon, and this could get dicey because the Loon is gonna hurt. So let's see what Thresh is doing. Thresh, do you remember when you let Katniss Everdeen go because she was nice to Rue? I thought that was really nice, man. So, just keep that in mind. Keep those principles in mind as you proceed. Okay, yeah, so that is one thing that I'll definitely say. Don't be too late with the rage. I've done it. We've all been there. You watch on YouTube, these guys play the rage like perfectly. I can't even tell you how many attacks I've bumbled because I've lost my queen, and you just saw another one. We literally just saw me do that. So, play it early, especially against higher point defenses and especially against higher bases. They'll take big chunks out of your queen faster. I think your army deployment here is great. I think your feel for the Valk pathing is great. Again, what we're seeing is that I think people just use too much rage and underestimate the power of of heals here. I see what you're going for with the Valk healer rage. So you're trying to, like, you know, optimize space, or, like, you know, be efficient by using the rage also as a heal with the healers. But unfortunately, because the Valks are not ranged, you will suffer from very, 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 very heavy healer attrition, and so you can't really rely on that as effectively. So even if your Queen Walk had survived, I think you still would have run into the issue of the Valks eventually just running out of steam. So I probably would have mixed in a heal here, and then, yeah, and then obviously try to keep the Queen Walk alive. I think the flip side is, you know, with these extra compartments, especially at Town Hall 10, you know, you clearly got to the core, so you identified the absolute right strategy to use. I think all this stuff would have fallen prey to hogs, and so, you know, I think as Jake from One Hive and State Farm would say, you know, hog everything, especially at this level. I think it's very reasonable to go with a little bit of hog heat there. All right, but yeah, Scorpion, you know, he had a pretty good base. He definitely caused us some problems. All right, let's hit one more, and then we'll go from there. Zero Grind versus Red Diamond. Oh, this is probably the leader of the clan, Brazilian Blood Diamond. All right, here we go. Zero Grind versus Diamond Dallas Page. Thresh, do you remember when Katniss made that flower crown and put it on Rue's head because she died, but really, you know, they had that bond of brotherhood that can only be forged in combat? I think that was a beautiful moment. And, you know, you stick to your principles, Thresh. You know, I hope to see you back in Hunger Games 4, Zombie Mockingjay Returns. So I think we're all excited about that one. Who knows if they'll get J-Law, but hopefully Thresh gets resurrected as a cyborg. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, so here we go. Got the poison. Yeah, so this is a nice one, right? So this is the phase 1 of the attack. This is called Value Queen Walk for sure. Zero Grind, great stuff. Gets ton of value on that Queen Walk there. He's able to get the CC with just a poison. Doesn't even waste a rage. He's just so hardcore. Well done there. Zero Grind. All right, so plays the jump. Plays the Queen ability. I think I would have used the Rage instead because, as I mentioned, the Queen ability is much easier to use. So we'll see. Okay, there we go. So Rage. Rage is right through. Nice Rage into the core. Nice Rage off the jump. Okay, so those Valks get, unfortunately, just completely left to the side and spanked. Let's see. How would I have played this one? I think I would have dropped the Hogs sooner. I think that would have been the answer. Like, you get the Valks in, and then you play the Hogs immediately. So Zero Grind, you know, I don't know if this base was scouted for you or not. Again, the main, obviously, if you're playing Hogs, the main scouting would be the Giant Bombs. I think your heals were... That one was a little bit early, but otherwise your heal spells were, like, spot on. Oh, no, a little bit of edging that you missed. Okay, yeah, so I think you played that last heal spell a touch on the early side. And oh, yeah, that's the one that cost you. So the Springtrap Attrition, in addition to that heal spell, ultimately did you in. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, because this was a good... Yeah, this was a good hit. You know, you planned it out. You just got to make sure you have enough juice at the end to kill all the bad stuff. Huh. What would I have done about this? You could have gone Miner. I think you could have taken a page out of Konar Blood's playbook and just gone Power Miner. I think, yeah. Ultimately, it came down to playing that last heal spell a little bit early. You know, basically, when you play with Hogs, it's all about how you disperse your heals. I think that Rage with the Valks was definitely the right move. But yeah, you know, your Queen Walk got spanked. I have to go back and see what happened there. So again, if you can try to keep the Queen Walk up, using the Rage there, maybe let the Valks speak for themselves, and then play the Hogs a little bit sooner. But ultimately, I think it came down to that last. I think all the other stuff was like, you did it right. It was just that last Hog heal, I think, that did you in. because unfortunately you lost too many hogs there, and the spring traps got you. So, yeah. Again, good hit though. I think the principles were spot on, and if it hadn't been scouted for you and you were just anticipating those giant bombs, well done, sir. All right, team. Well, that's all I got. Again, go through the phases of the attack in your mind. Do your best to anticipate your pathing, but don't freak out too much if things don't go as planned. Be patient with your spells. Play them in the right way. Don't be afraid of the giant bombs. And, good hunting out there. Pepto out.